Once we've identified what the inspection details and what kind of foundation, we're going to go to exterior, and then next we're going to go to the general section. We're going to fill out what kind of siding there is. Note all types of siding, not the most prevalent siding, and not some of them, but all of them. Next, we've got garage doors. Note how many and what types of doors. Typically, you're looking at a 2-car double door. That's one door that covers both sides of the garage. Sometimes you'll have 2 single doors, or occasionally we'll have a 3-car garage with a double door and a single door. And typically we leave roll-up and aluminum pre-checked because it's extremely common. Next, under patio, balcony, deck, there's almost always some sort of covered porch. If we do see other things such as a patio or a deck, we can note that here. Next is driveway material. The most common is concrete. However, we do see several gravel, asphalt, and dirt driveways, especially out in the country. In Oklahoma, they're almost always cracked, so we go ahead and leave cracked checked unless it's a brand new build. If it's a brand new build, check out the driveway very carefully and look for cracks. If there are none, we can go ahead and uncheck that. Sidewalk materials, exactly the same as the driveway. Next is the fence. Just noting what type of fence they have, whether it was wood, chain link, brick, or something else. And then if there's a gate, this would be more of a gate like you're going to see on a rural property that's going to prevent you from coming in. Next, on the landscape drainage, we generally leave all 3 slopes away, slopes towards, and flat checked, just because there's always a little bit of that. But take a good look around and make sure that you're covered. Next, if there's any flower beds, typically most homes have flower beds that border the house. There's often bushes or trees. Sometimes we'll have insect or pest bait stations. If you do see any of these, go ahead and hit the camera button to take a picture. Take the picture and it'll put it in here. Next, noting if there's a retaining wall. Most homes do not have a retaining wall, so we'll check NA. However, sometimes we'll see wood or concrete, occasionally other types. The last thing we'll be filling out is whether or not there were underground drains. This would be hooked up to usually some sort of subsurface drain to move water away from the house. We're not testing these, we're just noting where they're at, and we're taking a picture of them. And then typically we leave this bushes, trees, by the structure can cause damage and should be monitored, just as a disclaimer. Now we're going to hit the arrow down here to move on to evaluations and repairs. At the top, under limitations, we've got some disclaimers, pre-checked, and then limited visibility, just to make sure we're covered. On this home, there were some alterations to the original structure, and then the other ones, especially if there was stucco or painted brick, it's difficult to observe damage, so we want to mark those, and then not able to view if there's a side we can't view for some reason. Now that we've made it through our limitations, we can go into the deficiencies. Recaulking, peeling missing paint, and wall penetrations are going to be on virtually every single home, new or not. So we typically want to take 3 pictures of each. However, this house had a lot of peeling paint, so we went ahead and took 6, as you can see. And then wall penetrations is any hole in the house. Typically, we're going to look for gas lines, water faucets, air conditioning lines, or other things like that. Next, we're looking for vegetation too close to the exterior. This one is not pre-checked, although it is common. Anytime you have small bushes or plants within 8 to 12 inches of the home, or larger trees within 8 to 10 feet of the home or closer, we'll note those there. Next is going to be brick mortar damage. Brick mortar damage and damaged exterior are very common, so we have those pre-checked. You want to be sure to keep a special eye out for these. This can be, for brick mortar damage, it can be cracking in the mortar or the grout. It can be damage to the foundation, whether it's flaking off or you have corner pops. If there's mortar deteriorating, anything else that has to do with bricks, blocks, mortar, foundations, go ahead and put it there. Damaged exterior is going to cover everything else that's damaged on the outside. If it's wood, hardboard, something like that that's actually damaged. We also have damaged fence and bird insect nests, which are common. Gaps in the wall is going to be not damaged, but in a spot they just didn't get things close enough together, or it can be where something like a door frame or garage door frame or windows starting to pull away that can indicate structural damage. We have missing, damaged garage door insulation, damaged screens and seals. Anyway, you want to go through this list, be familiar with all these items, including poor drainage. If we it doesn't look like the water's draining away from the house, or items not inspected. If you've got certain things like sheds or barns that you're not inspecting that are out of scope, you want to make sure to call those out as things you're not inspecting, and that way no one comes back and asks why you didn't inspect them, or why you didn't find a deficiency on a building. So please go through all of these, become very familiar with them. There's quite a few. If you do see anything that's redundant, feel free to reach out, and we're more than happy to fix it.